Thanks for showing up this morning, Mitt. But Rex says he wants to get back in the game. Steve, you in for this? All right, Rex, just take it easy. Just walk out there. Walk out there. Good boy. He's all right. See his right rear leg. He's got some muscle issues going on there. Wow. Beautiful blue sky, and still that curious altocumulus cloud which has been sticking around. Mitt, are you coming out? I don't think so. I can't tie up three. Just gorgeous. Yeah. Yesterday we tried to form some holes in that altocumulus cloud, but they kept filling in with these curious instability clouds. I was looking right over there yesterday, and the low-level instability cumulus built up, and the top went to the altocumulus layer, say about 6,000 to 10,000 feet. Here it is. And stopped there at the top, like it had a hard top. And Charlie Orloff on Cape Cod says he picked up 3/4 of an inch of rain from a stationary shower yesterday over Mashpee on Cape Cod. So it was upper level low, kind of just stuck over the top of a surface high pressure system. Weather is curious and more curious every day, and curious going forward too. Gorgeous. No isobars over New England right now. There's high pressure off to the east. And as that high continues to move to the east, we are going to get a few isobars packing in here, and the air is going to come in from the southwest. So after days and days of cold air advection, now we begin some warm air advection. The summit of Mount Washington looks like it stopped snowing last night around 8 o'clock. So that was 11 days in a row of snow, 6.6 inches, shy still of the 8.4 inches the first half of June. Temperature on Mount Washington goes above freezing today and stays there for most of the incoming event. And the incoming event now has a lot of pieces, a lot of moving parts coming at us. Let's just go to tomorrow evening. No, wait, I want to start with this Saturday morning map. That's what I want to do, the still map, because I can talk about it because it's not moving. 3 low pressure systems over southeastern, well, there's more than that. It actually looks like 4 or 5. But note there's a low to our northwest, there's a low near the Connecticut coast, and there's a low further offshore. And we're having a really tough time trying to decide which low is going to take over first. Ultimately, it will all form one storm moving away from New England on Sunday. That's when the real wind is going to pick up. But with no isobars over New England in that map, wind's going to come from every which way. Speaking of departing New England, there is our friend Lynx, and it will be gone tomorrow morning. It's leaving late tonight, and we went on board again yesterday, and I'll leave you a little of that in a few minutes. Anyhow, the Lynx will be traveling south to New Bedford and beating that storm. It looks like the wind is going to really pick up after it goes by. So here, now let's go to the play-by-play on the storm coming in here. Parts coming out of Canada. There are 2 lows there to our north and one forming to our south. And then you see 3999 lows there, and then all of a sudden there's 1992 low on the coast of Connecticut Saturday morning first thing. Rain will have arrived already, and then it moves or jumps or reforms to a 984 low moving southeast of our benchmark here on Saturday afternoon with bands of rain but not too much wind. But the rain is anyone's guess. There could still be some scattered downpours. Much of the guidance is much drier than this Euro that I'm showing, or I was showing, but I keep interrupting because I can't keep up with myself. So we'll look at Leif's boat, the last boat left. Anyhow, the weather does not look too bad in the wind department Saturday, but scattered showers, and even up at the top of Mount Washington, it's well above freezing. So even in winter, this would probably be mostly rain event. People asking about that a lot. Okay, now let's go back into motion. As the low gets its act together now on Sunday night and pulls away, we have a band of heavier rain and wind trying to backlash us from north to south late Sunday. So some showers possible south, mostly dry. And the wind will pick up dramatically during the day in eastern New England and in the hills. But in inland New England, you won't notice the wind too much on Sunday either. And then Sunday night, that's when we get new cold coming in. High pressure comes right over us. It's a pretty cold high, frosty morning possible about Tuesday. And then, wow, it gets really dramatic the middle of next week. Here comes a low right across northern New England on Tuesday into Wednesday. And that divides a cold high to the north and a warm high to the south. And then, if this Euro is right, we're going to see the high to the south take back over after perhaps an onshore flow Wednesday to a southwesterly flow and a powerhouse of a storm moving way to the north next Friday or so. And at the same time, on the south side of this warm high that's coming at us late next week, there's a new tropical system trying to develop near Florida. And there's a blizzard in northern Canada. And we're right in the middle, not knowing what's going to happen. It could be the first time in 7 weeks, if we don't get a storm next weekend, to have no storm in the Northwest Atlantic on a weekend. As for that tropical system, I was wondering, could that be Tammy? Well, let's look. Here's the National Hurricane Center forecast for Tammy. And then here's the Euro guidance for Tammy. Becoming a hurricane again after a couple of days of waffling. Now it looks like the guidance wants to put it as a hurricane moving to the east of Bermuda early next week. And then watch what happens with the energy gathering over the Bahamas due to the high pressure to the north on this map. And a new low, looks like a tropical, perhaps tropical or extratropical system near Florida late next week. So there'd be a blizzard to our north and a possible tropical system near Florida. And we may be right in the middle. But there's a lot of moving parts there, and next weekend is going to be a really tough call again, as there's some of the coldest air, of course, of the season so far. We're going to say that a lot, building in Canada, coast to coast, with a blizzard in northern Canada late next week. I also want to talk about more about Mount Washington. Keith, so kind this morning to tell me that it's a new website, and I asked him, well, I don't really have any complaints, other than it took me 3 clicks instead of 2 to get to the F6 data. The F6 data is the monthly climatological data that goes in there, and that's where I get my snow totals and everything. And he said, okay, now it only takes 2 clicks. Well, thank you, Keith, for that. There's Andrew out fishing. Andrew will never stop fishing. Eventually, I don't know how long that boat's going to stay in. And also a couple other things from this morning. Peter Lavasco sharing some joy this morning with his sunrise photo from Gloucester, as the sun got underneath that altocumulus cloud. That was just gorgeous. Thank you for sharing joy, Peter. It's hard to share joy without not getting some back in return. I'm getting real joy out of looking at this perfect blue water this morning, also a reflection of the blue sky. No wake, Andrew, no wake, no respect. And also watching the planes take off there out of Logan Airport. And somebody, Global QZ, not sure, but I was tagged and I'm happy to share it. The sunrise from the Sagamore Bridge looking at the Sandwich Power Plant. Whoever walks up on the Sagamore Bridge to get any kind of picture has my vote. Thank you, QZ, for sharing. Just gorgeous morning here. So we had that curious rain yesterday, Wednesday rain and Saturday rain. That's not supposed to happen. So maybe the Saturday rain won't be as heavy as that Euro says. A lot of the guidance is much drier for Saturday. And I'll leave you with some curious clouds from yesterday and my last, for this year anyway, going on the Lynx, with the crew of the Lynx, talking about their voyages forward and their mission. So I'll leave you with a little snippet of that. But once again, there's going to be a much longer, comprehensive Lynx video coming out. And Charlie says, I want to go on that boat, and say, hey, there's someone coming down. That's a flag coming down. Going to change flags and change it from a Bruins flag to a Rangers flag? No, I'm only kidding. The flag's going back up now. Anyhow, raising the flags at sunrise. And I did learn a little bit more about the flags yesterday. And anyhow, Charlie, it'll be back next summer. We'll catch up with it next summer. Unless you want to go to an oyster festival in Chesapeake Bay, we can catch up with her as she heads south to St. Simons, Georgia for the winter. All right. Verbose, TK, verbose. How's T-Rex? Where is he? Oh, look at, they're all sitting there all nice in the yard. Oh, yeah, Rex. I'm glad. You still got his spunk. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow. It's that right rear muscle. May have to go to the doctor today. Took a while, but we're gradually burning through that altocumulus layer. It's past 1 p.m. Interesting instability clouds below firing up there over Boston, going up to a certain level and then going flat, right at the level of the altocumulus. If I were to estimate, I would say the bottom of those instability cumulus right there over Winthrop were probably around 7,000 feet or so, and then the tops are up around 10,000 feet, and then they just go flat on top. So there's a stable layer right there. We are, after all, in a high pressure system, which usually means stability. But really interesting clouds. And a little bit of foliage here. The invasive burning bush starting to burn. And still in port, Lynx. When are you setting sail? Well, that's a pretty sail. Haven't seen that one before. Nice day for sailing all of a sudden. Why not? Ah, nice little breeze from the northeast. The sunshine's finally drying us out. Passing 3:30 here at Wessagusset, and we actually qualify as Wednesday Beauty right now. It's gorgeous. Touching 70 degrees, and you know my feelings on Wednesday Beauty. It changes, although it's been a mixed Wednesday, so maybe it'll be a mixed Saturday, but right now tendency is not so good. Not so windy, but period of rain. Drier Sunday, but that's when the wind kicks in. What is wind? We know.
The sun hitting the hull now, isn't that pretty?
It is gorgeous, and you've got the Massachusetts flag and Old Glory, and I think the Maine flag I learned yesterday.
Yeah,
wow.
So the captain's flag flies off of the main mast on the port side, and Sean's from Maine. We get the mast flag, it's a courtesy flag, and then the 15-star, 15-bar ensign for the flag that was flying in 1812.
Oh.
And then of course we're flying the Bruins.
And then what's going on up? Just who is that? Is that Franklin up way up there?
That is Frankie. Yep.
Oh my goodness! Is he adjusting the Bruins flag? Hi.
Hello.
What's he doing?
So he's working on some of the rigging.
Man.
And,
what is that? 80 feet? How high is that?
So the masts are 100 feet off the bridge clearance is 100 feet on the main. So he's up about 75 feet.
Oh, what a guess. Not bad.
Yep. Did he get back to you?
Always prepping.
Well, he did, but
Because he doesn't remember.
well, yeah, he just basically said he wasn't sure. Well, you questioned exactly what I was talking about, and then but he was a little more specific with the response. Always doing the weather.
I'm always nervous when it's nice on a Wednesday because that usually means bad news for the weekend because the weather changes so often.
Lovely.
So this beam is called the cat.
Cat head?
So the beam is the cat. So when they would refer to the anchor is catted, meaning that the anchor is swung from the end of the cat head and is hanging vertical. This 350-pound anchor. But if you look at the end of the cat head is our bronze bust of the Lynx.
I was wondering where the name came from.
Yeah. So the original Lynx, launched in 1812, was named after the stealth, quiet, fast fighter that the cat Lynx is.
Oh. So you're stealth.
It's very stealth.
Now this below deck is not representative of how it might have been back in 1812.
No, this is really a yacht interior for the comfort of the liveaboard. And Tim, we don't even have locks on our hatches. Maybe I don't want to say that too loud, but there's always somebody on board.
So what would it have been like, the original
It would
below?
have been pretty much an open boat with probably a Franklin stove and nothing but hammocks.
Chef, how's it going?
Good.
What's for dinner tonight?
Beef stew.
Oh, that's the best. Do the rest of the crew have a favorite meal that you prepare?
Broccoli cheddar.
Oh,
That
neat.
seems to be the favorite.
Okay. And that sounds like something that they would have had back then too.
Maybe, yeah.
We do some port-to-port passages, Tim, and these bunks here, these berths, you see, semi-private. They're not a cabin. They're a curtain. But people pay to go port-to-port passages on Lynx with, and they stay in these berths.
Yeah, it's glamping on the water.
That's right. Become part of the crew or not be assigned to a watch and just kind of roam during the 24 hours we're at sea.
And how do they sign up for that?
On the website,
Yeah.
yep, we have
Cool.
that. And we catch a lot of great fish off of Lynx. So we preserve our food budget whenever we catch a mahi or other species that we catch, mako shark. We kind of hesitate to bring those on deck. We did once. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, right. They can do damage.
That's a lot to manage. Original Lynx was a tiller operated. And to be purely authentic, they actually designed the boat to have a tiller. But the Coast Guard was going to require 2 additional crew members to have a tiller. So they went with the wheel. And our slogan here, Lynx, be excellent to each other and to your ship, is carved in the wheel. And that is a slogan that Allison Woods keyed when she christened the boat Lynx.
So then you'd steer just kind of standing next to it?
Yep, you steer here, you look forward, you can see all your sails, you can see your crew, and you can, this is where all the action happens. You see the waves come down the deck.
Captain, what's the biggest seas you've had to go through?
The biggest seas I've had to go through on this boat, fortunately not too large, probably 10, 12 foot.
Okay, another boat. What other boat?
Probably the biggest seas I've ever been in were like 25 feet, but that was.
So is that when you like see the sky and then you see the water? And
It's exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
Where was that?
That was off of Cape Hatteras, probably in like 2002.
Right. Yeah. We are sort of the magnet for storms here in the Northeast. The weather comes from Africa, the Arctic, and Hawaii, and Central America all at the same time.
Yep.
You got one of those coming this weekend, but it's going the opposite direction of you.
Yeah, but we're gonna feel the effects of it, or at least the wind, anyways. So that's gonna alter our plans as far as when we.
From the mast to the outside of the yardarm. And we have 2 of them. They're called split courses. And when we fly that, we can go downwind very fast.
2, they're like this?
No, there's individual panels on either side of the mast.
Yeah.
And they come all the way down to the deck.
Wow.
And so those are additional.
I'm going to be lifting some of those images off your website.
Yeah, those are additional deck set sails.
All right. I really appreciate your time. This is
Yep.
just so fun. Could do this all day, as I said. Yeah. History everywhere you go. Woods Marine. Lynx. Woods Marine. Everyone's going to want to know Woods Marine now. Well, it's been a pleasure having you here in Weymouth. And we're going to see you again next summer, right?
You bet. You bet. We'll be back. We've been treated very well here. It's a beautiful little community. We got a substantial dock and showers and nice people all around.
We'll see you again next summer.
You bet.